Everybody, welcome to the fifth episode of Chess Growth Hacking, where we are going to host people who have already achieved a lot in their careers and are happy to share their wisdom and experience. Today, my guest is a chess grandmaster who has crossed 2700 during his professional career with many world champions including Garry Kasparov, Vladimir Kramnik, Vishwanath Anand, Veselin Topalov and Magnus Carlsen too. After switching to professional coaching career in 2013, he had a huge success there too. He has coached many grandmasters, taking their chess to the next level, including Sari Chivan, Salem Saleh, Jordan Van Forest and others. He also had fantastic success with national teams. Under his guidance, in 2018, Iran won Asian Nations Cup, leaving behind India and China. And during this period, many Iranian talented players became grandmasters, and particularly Alireza Firouzja went out to become the youngest player to become 2800 Elo barrier. And in 2022, Uzbekistan, being number 14 on the starting list in the 44th Olympiad, went to win the gold medal. Who was their coach? The same person. Please meet Grandmaster Ivan Sokolov. Hello everyone, and thanks for accepting this invitation.
Thanks a lot, Avedik. My pleasure.
Super. Ivan, first of all, huge congratulations for winning the Chess Olympiad, Chess 44th Olympiad, and this time as a coach. So you, during your professional career, you won a lot. What's the difference in the feelings when you are a coach and when you are a player?
Okay, this is interesting because as a player, I won Olympic silver a long time ago, 1994, when I played for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And then I won with Netherlands European gold in 2005, which was actually also a big result because Russia played, Ukraine played, Armenia, Azerbaijan, all those countries played with their good teams. And we managed to win. I won individual gold in European Championship 2013 as the best performance overall. So on my board and also overall best performance, I won a gold medal ahead of, I think number 2 was Ronian, number 3 was Svidler. And so this was quite a huge result. But of course, this is the biggest result which I managed to achieve as a coach of a very young team of Uzbekistan. And this was an interesting feeling. Though it was probably, with the feeling, it was almost the same feeling like if I was playing. When it comes to emotional ups and downs, emotional joy, emotional stress, it was very similar kind of feeling.
Got it. Even in your last interview, you said that your initial goal, you said that if you got in top 5, it will be a great result. And talk us through the importance of setting up realistic goals, how important it is.
Yes, this was very tricky because, of course, I was harboring hopes for a medal, let's say somewhere inside me. But when I was asked somehow by officials in Tashkent before the Olympiad, because I came there and I stayed there almost 3 weeks, we had preparation, I thought well, it would be crazy to give them some sort of hopes. Yeah. Or unrealistic hopes, because if I do this, they're also going to translate this to the team. And this burden of expectations is going to work against us. It is much better to enter the competition as a, let's say, underdog or as a dark horse, and for me to hope for the best.
Yes, clear.
But there were also objective, reasons, because, okay, number one, I knew that Americans are not going to have a great team spirit. This is not a big secret. Yes. Everybody knew this.
Yeah.
But I simply thought that, okay, by analyzing their team and all the other teams, that the difference in class, the difference of a level, is going to do its job. So that those 5 people are going to play like a total individualists. But okay, who cares?
Yeah.
Even total individualists, they are so good that they should be able to win Olympiad with that kind of average rating. And then, okay, who is going to be the best of the rest? And the best of the rest, I was analyzing the teams. And by analyzing these teams, I also told this to the officials there. I said, look, I'm not saying that we cannot beat any of the other teams. We can. But we are not going to enter any of those matches with more than 50% chance. Because analyze it board by board. Whether we pick up India 1 or India 2, or we pick up Germany, we pick up Spain, we pick up Armenia, Poland, Azerbaijan, any of those teams. Okay, we are not worse because we are underrated. I was fully aware that my team was underrated. Mm-hmm. But when you are aware as a player, when you are playing somebody and you know that your opponent is underrated, or as a coach, usually, okay, you are aware that somebody is underrated, but if somebody would ask you how much, you would say, well, okay, you would say, I don't know how much. I know that rating should be higher. And this is the same stuff which I had in my team. I knew that our average rating should not be 14 from the starting block. It should be higher. Okay, how maybe higher? Yeah, how higher? I don't know. So this was more or less my assessment at the start of the Olympiad.
Got it. Even you said you had about 3 weeks, yeah, and a little bit time you had before joining them, so you had time to analyze their games and find the weak spots. So during these 3 weeks, how your training looked like? Did you try to bring them to the best of their shape, to fix their biggest holes? How was your 3 weeks? Is very small, yeah, for a coach, very small period.
Yeah, it is very small time. Okay, I had there all the players apart from Abu Sataro because he was playing in Biel during time when I was there. And well, what I was trying to work on are different, let's say, kind of middle game positions coming from openings. And this was one part of it. Because when I was hired, and I also told them from the very start, do not expect me to kind of work on some positions, I don't
find
know,
novelties, yeah,
to find you some blockbuster novelties in those kind of lines. I said, this is what I'm simply not going to do. I was not doing this for myself and as active player, and I'm also not going to do this for you. But I can improve situations on some other levels. So what I was trying to do, I was, since I stopped playing, working now for 10 years as a coach, I build up different kind of databases which have to do with the different kind of middle games positions coming from different openings. This is number one. And number two is decision-making process. Like finding a position, and I have a lot of them in my database, coming from real games from a top level, and most of them coming from recent games. And okay, finding the right decision, finding the right plan. And sometimes it will be, let's say, doing the right trade, understanding that maybe your ending is good. Sometimes it will be a pawn break. Sometimes it's going to be direct tactical solution connected to calculation. And it will be all mixed of those things. I do not like, as a coach, let's say, databases where you would pick up I do this, let's say, when I'm giving a group training for people who are like, let's say, 2,200 or 2,000. But when you are working with really top players, I do not like a kind of a work what some people do, that you have, let's say, a directed database. So that some database you would be busy with only calculations. Some database you will be busy with a good piece trade. Some database only with the pawn breaks. Why? Because when you are playing a real game, nobody is going to give you a clap on the shoulder. Hey, this is a pawn break situation. So this decision-making process database is combined of all those examples, So normally what I will do, I will put a position, I would say, okay, this is, let's say, this was in a game, move number 32. It is fair to say that you would not have incredible amount of time at that moment. So I think it's fair to say, maybe let's say 15 minutes to take a decision, because probably you will not have more than 15 minutes at that moment in the game. And this is more or less what I was doing in this preparation period.
Got it. So to get into a good shape before the tournament, like mainly it was making decisions, practical decisions. And tell me, were they also playing some blitz, rapid games, doing tactics? Like, were they doing also such things?
No, because we were actually, there was no time, because we were having our workday was combined. Our workday was 6 hours. Combined of a 2 session, of course, with a lunch break in between. Okay, this was about it. Some of the players had some energy that afterwards they still wanted to do some additional work. Some players not, because, okay, 6 hours in itself is not so little. It's already quite a decent amount of time. So, yeah, no, we were not doing this kind of thing.
Good. Ivan, you said that USA didn't have, like, it was clear they didn't have that team spirit, and you have participated already in many team championships, quite successful, and here you are coach of the team. Tell me, please, like, what team should do to have a good spirit, and what you should do, like what you are doing as a coach to build that team spirit, to build that team spirit, which it was clear that Uzbekistan had.
Well, I was quite fortunate when I was, let's say, with Iran, and when I was with Uzbekistan, with 2 very young teams, because team of Iran was also very young. Let's say when I was at the time when I was coaching them. So both teams, Uzbekistan team, like for example, according to age, can easily qualify for a junior team championship. Like Abdus Sattarov and Sidarov, they are 17. And the other, apart from Jakhonhir Vokhidov, are also very young. All of them are under 21. So they could have actually qualified for not this Olympiad, but for a junior Olympiad.
And would be without giving chances to other countries, I think.
Yes, without giving any chances to other countries. What is advantage, of course, and makes it easier for a coach to build a good team spirit in this situation. Those people are very young. They are full of ambitions. They basically see all the life ahead of them. They basically see it like world started with me, and it is never going to end. This is usually what people think when they are of that age, and this is very good. There is a lot of ambitions. There is a lot of, positive energy, a lot of positive expectation. Those people are simply too young to have inside themselves feelings like envy, jealousy, all these kind of things, which actually are standing in a way to build a good team spirit.
It's very destructive, yeah?
This, which is extremely destructive. They don't have it. Maybe they would have it 10 years from now. I don't know. But they, not now. And this is then amazingly helpful. And then, then you need somehow to win their trust as a coach that, first of all, that you are qualified to take a best decision, because you don't get this trust based on what people say about you, what people write about you. This is not how it works. You have to get this trust from them, that you are willing to do the best for a team and that they respect your decisions. And then once you accomplish this, together with a team of friends, which are really willing to get to the best of the result, then you have fantastic basis with this very good team spirit.
Except of chess training during that 3 weeks, if it's not secret, what are the other activities you are doing? Like, were you playing some games, working together, watching movies? How it was like?
Actually, we were not doing other activities. It was only chess training. So we were not doing other activities. The only time when I was doing some other activities with the people that I was training, but this was a bit different. At some stage, I was training what we called in Netherlands Jonge Oranje, which means young Dutch. Well, at that time we were stationed at Olympic sport camp, where people are coming for a training who are in athletics or in a boxing or whatever. And simply this is a huge compound where you are having a sports hotel and you are having all these Olympic facilities, like for regular sporters. And I was having
running place, yeah?
Yes, everything. Weightlifting, running place, boxing ring, swimming pools, normal Olympic facility training. And I was having at that time two brothers, Van Foreest, and also some other young Dutch players. I think I had a group of 5. And at that time, I did agree with the Dutch Chess Federation also that, let's say, we would be doing chess 6 hours per day, but we would have like a break for 1 hour per day physical activity.
In the evening usually, or after?
No, at a break. At a break or after done with the chess before a dinner. And this is the only time when I was doing this, when I was training any kind of teams. But okay, it was also easier because, you know, you had all the facilities at the place where you were. So it was very, very simple, you know. Only thing which you need to do is to notify the management at what time do you want to use the training facilities. And that was it. You get, you know, passage and 1 hour facilities are yours.
Yeah, clear. Even you have trained many grandmasters taking their chess to very different level, and you in different interviews stress it out the importance of studying classics, and that this younger generation, including me, they don't watch much, they don't follow much classics. Tell us please the importance of it, and if your students, including the Uzbekistan, like the squad, these champions, they know classics.
Okay, I don't want to name. Some of them do. Some of them don't. Some of them don't. And okay, I had to, of course, I had to work on this.
So it's still important for them to study for the next, for
Yes.
getting to the next level.
Yes, I had to work on this, you know. One of them even told me, well, coach, okay, this, you know, this Ruy Lopez is such a boring opening. And then I said, well, yeah, probably boring opening. That's why it was played by Karpov, Fischer, Stein, Kasparov, all those people, Smyslov, because it is probably such a boring opening. Carlsen. So sometimes you meet these kind of things, and okay, you have to kind of explain to them the necessity of broadening knowledge. But this is a regular process, you know, because nowadays generation has, of course, big advantage compared to my generation, and that's why people, they learn things much faster.
Become grandmaster earlier.
Yes, because okay, let's say when I was 16, starting to really improve my chess. Okay, I was born 68, so we are talking 1984. Nobody had a computers in 1984. ChessBase didn't.
Informators, it was.
Yes, ChessBase.
Journals.
ChessBase did not exist. Okay, how would I, you know, study, for example, let's say Nimzo Indian? How would I study it? Well, I would study it that at that time the popular books in former Yugoslavia were 3 books, 2 or 3 books of Botvinnik called Analytical Work, Analytička rabota, where he had his own games and okay, that he was giving comments on. okay, it would be first of all to research the games from those books. Then at that time, actually the only source of viable information was Chess Encyclopedia of Openings by Chess Informant.
And that's what informants there was, yeah, that time.
Yes.
Chess Informant.
Yes. They started in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Encyclopedia of Informants was the most viable source of information.
Mm-hmm. With novelties, last novelties, with
yes.
formative games.
And then, okay, next to this, Chess Informants. Okay, so once I pile up all these kind of things, I would analyze, find the most important games and put it on my notebook. But the notebook make a notebook, you know, you have without engine, you just write it with a handwriting. So I would probably need to spend minimum like 10 days preparing the material before I can actually start studying the material. So different nowadays, well, of course, this generation, they can prepare the material to study like in a matter of 5-6 hours and start studying from the very first day. And also, of course, not run a risk of making a mistakes because you do have engines.
Yeah. Even this, especially this young generation, or like overall, yeah, all the chess improvers who wants to work professionally. It's a big question, so you can just point out a few of the main common mistakes people are doing in their training. Like they overuse chess engines, or they focus on evaluation without understanding the positions. What are the main things that you think that they are doing wrongly?
I think maybe there is, okay, maybe 2 points. There are two main points, I think. The other are not so relevant. So one point, number one, is that you do have positions, let's say, which is computer is very enthusiastic, that for a human, it is very difficult to prove it because you need to keep on coming up with the kind of decisions and the moves that a human is not likely to basically find. So maybe position is, I don't know, 0.60, 0.70 for a computer. But for a human is unclear position. This is number one. And number two is that maybe position is really better and humanly also better, but maybe for a player with different understanding than you are. Let's put it this way, like I was always, throughout my career, I was, let's say, dynamic player based on positional values.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, positions like Tal type of positions or Shirov types of positions, I was never comfortable playing it. And okay, computer can maybe tell me that I can sacrifice a piece and I can be maybe, let's say, plus 1.5. There is no forced mate, but okay, there is a huge attack and I'm a piece down, but I don't feel really comfortable with this. I feel much more comfortable, let's say, to be on 0-0-0, to be only pawn down and to have initiative. So this is what often people make mistakes, taking up choices as to which middle game to enter, because when you are choosing the opening, this is maybe also another kind of problem. You need to realize that this opening is going to result in some kind of middle game.
Yeah, and you need to feel that middle game.
And you need to be comfortable with this stuff which you are going to get. An engine can tell you whatever engine wants to tell you, but you will later on, you will be on your own. And once you are on your own, you need to be comfortable with the position that you are playing. This is also what I try to do with the people, you know, as a coach, because probably it is going to be also your another question, so I will kind of get into this. Like when I'm busy, let's say, preparing a team like Uzbekistan, for example, I'm not looking before the matches for their novelties. So what I normally have, with every single player a discussion in the morning, like what do they expect is going to happen in the game.
And based on experience, you tell.
Yes.
Is real or
Yes.
not real
Yeah. I normally tell them, okay, have a look, and before we have a look yourself and tell me what do you expect. Okay, sometimes they come to my room, sometimes we are on the phone, and okay, we are both having computers. And I will normally then have a look and I will say, okay, I expect this position to basically happen. You are right. Sometimes I say you're not right, because if I would be your opponent, I think that I would be choosing for something different. So you should be ready that maybe something different is also going to happen. And then sometimes I would say, okay, this is a great choice. Sometimes I would say, well, do you consider that this choice is maybe going to result in a positions that perhaps you don't like?
Yeah.
Depending on the players, because I kind of got to understand those players, meanwhile. Yes, that is correct. So those are kind of, let's say, elements that people maybe don't pay enough attention, or maybe they pay enough attention, but they don't have enough experience to give the right assessment to it. This also could be the case.
Even one quick question about chess engines. It can be short answer. Is there any level that until that level you recommend just don't touch chess engines at all? And if you are 1700, yeah, it's like definitely maybe just time to time checking the blunders, yeah, but not analyze with engine, yeah. Like any level that until like from there you can start working with cloud engines to analyze openings.
Okay, I think that anyhow, if you are below 2200, 2300, to work with the cloud engines, it doesn't make any sense.
It can be even destructive, right?
Yes, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, okay, let's put it this way, that I don't work with the cloud engines. Why? Because, simple Stockfish 15, which is working on a normal computer, be it Intel, be it AMD, doesn't really matter, is already in 95% of positions stronger than a world champion.
Yeah, it's enough. Yeah, already.
It is enough. You are not preparing for a world championship. Okay, when you are busy with the people who are like 2,700 players, of course I tell them, okay, you would have to work on cloud. I'm not going to do it for you, but you have to do it yourself. Why? Because, okay, you would meet opponent who is also going to work on a cloud, so you should not be underdog. You should know some kind of truth in the position, but then you are talking really about very high level.
Ivan, is it because of that how working with cloud engines can be destructive on your chess? That's why many have seconds, so they keep that practical strength when they are playing chess. Like one of the reasons, probably, like it's of course it will be lots of job, yeah, for seconds to do, but also when they are also trying to avoid, yeah, that destructiveness using with engines, but overworking with engines.
Yes and no. Like, okay, first of all, not everyone can afford a second.
Yes, yeah. I mean, top players that.
But only very top can afford, let's say, what I would call this physical worker.
Physical worker.
Yes. Most of them, they cannot afford it simply. Is it okay, destructive in a way? Yeah, it is destructive in a way. Like, for example, I was having this. I was once having a discussion with a strong player who was using these clouds like crazy and got completely immersed into those kind of clouds. And we were analyzing some position of Rossolimo. And he said, well, this is a draw. And I was looking, I said, say it again. He said it's a draw. And okay, it was like position after 7-8 moves.
All the pieces on the board.
All the pieces are on the board, kind of, classical Rossolimo position, white took on c6. It resembles this English color reversed. All the possibilities are there. He said, no, every way you're gonna go, you would come to 0-0-0. Okay, this is, for example, typical example that working too much and too deep with the engine can be counterproductive.
Yes, yeah. Even you had so much massive success with so many players, and I believe many coaches would love to hear. Again, it's like big topic, yeah, how to be better coach, how to excel. Any advice, one, two, like main points to coaches?
Well, let's say the way that you can help people or improve people, it has to do with your, let's say, own understanding of the game. There is no kind of, let's say, universal advice there, because different kind of coaches are going to present the topic in a more successful or less successful way, depending on their own strength. The same thing like with a practical player. Give the same position to, I don't know, Carlsen or Aronian or Wesley So. They are probably going to play it better than somebody who is having 150 elo points less. Mm-hmm. This is reality. And probably with the coaching is something very similar. But what I basically can advise to this is keep on updating your database.
Exactly, this is what I wanted to hear from you.
Keep on updating your database. Keep on updating this based on modern games, because chess is also developing. These modern games keep on updating this, following up on the new ideas. Because like, for example, you cannot be out of touch with, let's say, new ideas, and to tell to people like, okay, well, I don't know anything about this.
You cannot afford it, yeah, as a good coach.
You cannot afford it as a good coach. And you need to try to understand them. Like, for example, first round candidates, Duda Rapport, this Sicilian bishop f4, 20 years ago, you would have been completely ridiculed if with the white you came up with that kind of move. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But, theory does change. Theory does change. I mean, when you start to actually analyze it, you kind of understand that white is aiming for more space in that kind of position. Actually, funny enough, Rapport was the first one who played it with white versus Caruana in St. Louis 2021. And he got a better position. And actually, it is positionally sound. White is aiming for a position where he's going to be having a little bit more space and some sort of long-term pressure. Actually, there is nothing wrong with this. And the fact that people did not play it until 2-3 years ago, this is just a new development of chess. And actually, this is, a very good development of chess to a people who are saying that chess is going to be dried, the game is going to be killed, we are going to be having only draws. This is obviously not true. Depends who is playing.
Yeah. I badly wanted to hear from you that point that coaching is not just when you coach someone. Coach is when you are working on yourself, when you are not getting paid, but you work on yourself, making your database and becoming a better coach.
Well, you are basically, you are getting paid because when you are a professional player, you are working all the time to keep your level high in order to keep your rating high and to make a prize money in the tournament or to get a starting fee. So you are getting paid. You're not getting paid, not immediately. You're not getting paid at that moment, but you will get paid. The same thing when you are a coach. You are not getting paid at that moment, but then you go to give a training session, you get paid for this training session, or you get a bonus if your team does very well. So you are getting paid, but you need to keep on working on yourself.
Tell us, please, about the academy you have, like on your online chess academy, Circle of Champions Academy. Tell us about it. What is there? How people can benefit, and what's the mission?
Well, the mission is it is a long-term plan, which I did not actually finalize yet. I have just started this with a website with as a partner, and the person who helps me on this, my Croatian friend Alojzij Jankovic. You probably know him. Maybe you even played him. I don't know. But the idea is a long-term plan to kind of try to have developing programs for aspiring players of different categories. And the idea is that I am not going, obviously, to be the one who is going to be conducting all these kind of trainings, because, okay, I cannot split myself, I cannot clone myself in 5 persons, and the day has only 24 hours. So this is not exactly the idea. So the idea is at some stage to have a different kind of players that are going to be helping me on this kind of issue. And I'm going to develop this, further. At this moment, I'm getting a lot of messages. I do not have much time at this moment, because also this engagement, for Uzbekistan team came very unexpected, because I was actually invited to come to Olympia to be an official commentator. And I wanted to do this, and then during Sharjah Masters, all of them played in Sharjah Masters, all those players. And the person who was arbiter of Sharjah Masters was the former vice president of Federation, Husan Tudorliev. And he actually asked me during the Sharjah Masters whether I want to job with Uzbekistan team.
And professionally, it's more interesting for you.
Yes, which I accepted, and I called Indian media team and I said, look guys, I agreed to be commentator, but this is professionally much more interesting for me. And they understood, but it also means that it gives me less time. So this is to make...
You need to prepare. It's not just going and commenting. Yeah, you need to prepare.
Yes. And then, okay, so what are my, let's say, plans? Well, my plans is that I'm going to have, first of all, 2 FIDE trainer seminars. The one will be in Zagreb, Croatia, which I'm going to travel to now. When I finish this interview with you, I will go to airport. And the second one will be in Romania, in Mamaia, during World Youth. They will be having many coaches there, so then they're going to adjust it a little bit, so it will not be like 3 days, what usually it takes. It will be like 5 days, so that more people can attend. And then I'll be also doing there some private training session with one of the top players. And well, then after this, my immediate plan is to be... I will be coach of... at the European Club Cup, a very strong team. Superbet is going to have its team.
Superbet. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the sponsor of all these big events. And it will be, you will see, it will be a very strong team. And after this, the way it is now, well, it has to get confirmed by the sports ministry, but Uzbekistan is probably going to participate at the World Teams. Which is scheduled to be end of November in Jerusalem. I don't know if there was going to be any changes within FIDE on this, but I assume that it will stay the same because there is not much time. So if the planning stays the same, then I will probably travel to Tashkent for maybe 2 weeks preparation and then to join team on that tournament. That will be quite challenging. Why it will be a new challenge, because they have chosen, I don't know why, but they have chosen time limit of 45 minutes plus increment.
For the time control of the tournament?
Yes.
45 minutes, it's like first time, yes, such time control in such tournaments?
Yes. I have never played such a time limit in my life as a player in my career, which is very long, and I have never seen such a time limit.
Wow, I've seen some in the USA in some open tournaments, yeah, but not in such big events.
No, because
Yeah.
it is, I don't know how to define it. It is definitely not rapid, and it is also definitely not classical.
Yeah, something between, yeah,
It is something in between, you know. And okay, let's see. So my idea will be also there I will try to judge. Decision-making process will need to be shorter. Opening decision process will have to be smart. Yes, practical and clever, because if you are caught into some kind of thing that you need to remember some long analysis, this can get very tricky.
Yeah.
So this will be some sort of new challenge. Yeah, this will be some sort of new challenge. By the way, when it comes to this, I would like also to use this interview to mention that I fully agree with what Carlsen is saying, that time limit should be faster.
Mm-hmm.
I think really that FIDE should consider this and they should listen to him.
Maybe this is the first steps.
Yeah, they should really listen to him, because I do not think what people are saying that he is doing this out of self-preservation because he won all these World Championship matches in a tie-break. Well, this is not true because, well, he is 28.60 with a normal time limit. So he doesn't need to do it out of any kind of self-preservation. But I think this is simply needed for a chess in order to be more marketable. To be able this kind of live commentary, different kind of things to become, let's say, more accessible to different kind of people. And if this is really what they want to do with the 45 minutes as a first step, then it's a very good step. I'm not sure it's a perfect step. I don't know what is the perfect time limit. Is the perfect time limit indeed 45 minutes plus increment? Or is it what you have in some tournament, 90 minutes plus increment? Okay, I don't know. I really don't know. Or 30 minutes plus increment, but I do know that it needs to be faster than it is today.
So at least this is some steps being taken.
Yes, some step needs to be made and then evaluated, and then to come up for a longer term decision as to what a good time limit should be. But it should be, faster than today.
Yeah. Ivan, it will be maybe a mistake by me. Maybe I will not forgive me, but like you are. I don't want you to miss the flight. So having you here for me as a professional player, retired professional player, being professional coach, it's such a pleasure and so much invaluable information what you are sharing. But I have to let you to go to your flight. So my last question: what's your wish, advice to chess improvers?
No, it's a very complicated question because okay, if you are you need to know yourself, pluses and minuses, in order to be able to improve. Sometimes you get to know these two processes because you become simply strong enough in order to understand your pluses and minuses. Yes, objectivity. Okay, at the start, maybe you are not strong enough and you need a coach in order to help you onto this. And then you need the right coach to kind of help you in this kind of road to improvement. Okay, I get sometimes ridiculous emails from people. Like, no, believe me, I get often email like, I'm 2100, my strength is 2400, and I would like to be grandmaster by the end of this year. And a coach like you can help me. And then, okay, so I say, well, people have a rating for a reason. I am a coach, I'm not a magician, I cannot pull rabbits out of my hat, So unrealistic expectation is also kind of stands to a lot of people in the way. And then 80% of people I worked with, somehow all of them are convinced that they are underrated. This is kind of a common issue. So learn yourself, trying to improve the game, try to play a different kind of positions. Actually, I do regret maybe that during my career I didn't play more types of positions than I did. It was purely professionally based. You keep some sort of level of rating, you are getting some sort of invitations and a starting fees. It was money based. I didn't want to, I understood if I start doing something else, it is going to pay off after 2 or 3 years, but I will need to accept maybe 40 or 50 rating points loss in this process. And this was some kind of, I had a wife, 2 kids, so this was kind of a risk which I did not want to take. So now after 10 years of coaching, I probably understand more about chess than I understood during time when I was active player. Very possible. But this is also my kind of advice. Try to explore on different kind of positions. And if you can afford to hire different kind of coaches helping you to explore different kind of positions and to teach you, if you can afford it as a player, do it. It will be well invested money because it will save you a lot of time. Massive amount of time. Because I had only, just to make it, let's say, story shorter, I had only one real coach in my life. It lasted maybe period of 1 year, where we had maybe, let's say, 3 or 4 training sessions, which were like 10 days each.
Velimirovic?
Yes, it was Velimirovic. And he did speed up my learning process. Let's say that this maybe 40 or 30 or 40 working days, maybe they did speed up my learning process by 3 or 4 years.
Amazing.
Especially at that time, because when there were no computers and the things, but also not only that, he could tell me, this I analyzed with Grigoric, this I analyzed with Korchnoi. They did speed up my learning process in a very big way. And if I didn't do this at the time, who knows? Maybe I would not have become a grandmaster at that time. When I became grandmaster, I was youngest in the world when I became at that time. Maybe I would have become a grandmaster 3-4 years later, or not at all. Maybe I would have stayed in university, not have become professional chess player, and my life would have taken completely different turn.
If you can afford coaches, it's like
if you can afford a good coach, do it, because it is going to save you amazing amount of time.
Or at least often put on the correct road. Yes,
put you on the right road. Nowadays you can learn a lot by using engines. This is true. You can learn a lot by having access to databases. Nowadays also, what you didn't have before, you have these online learning portals like Chessable, which didn't exist at the time. Probably there are also some other learning portals. Chessable is not the only one. You have videos, you have so much information that was absolutely not available at my time. But then you still need to choose, you need somehow to analyze this information. You don't have a time to analyze all this information. And then choosing the right coach that will put you on the right path is going to save you a lot of time, and this is well invested money.
Got it. Even in one of your interviews to the question, despite of beating all the top players, including world champions, you didn't became an elite player, and you said you were not ready to make sacrifices and you wanted to enjoy the life too. Is it also like about improvement? Be ready to make sacrifices. You cannot do all together.
Look, in life you need to make sacrifices. This is how it goes. And yes, and everybody has to judge for himself or herself what is the goal, the amount of goal, the objectivity of reaching the goal, and the amount of sacrifice you are willing to give. This is what is a personal decision.
Correct. So summarizing my last questions, advice you wish to improve. So first, try to be as objective as possible. If you can't, hire someone who can help you, who has more experience, right? Second, you said try to explore more position to improve your chess understanding. Yeah, don't stick with one opening. Be ready to make sacrifices, and if you can, accept help, hire coaches who can speed up the process or at least put you on the correct path road.
Yes, correct. And maybe, okay, so since we are now closing this interview, maybe it is also, since we were talking about how important is the team spirit in this kind of, let's say, big events, like what I said, okay, that I was fortunate with this young team to have fantastic team spirit. Since you are actually sitting in Armenia, okay, you can see from your own country that team spirit is important. Because for some reason, at team events, Armenia always outperforms in self-honor rating. It is like a rule. So team spirit in team events is kind of very important. That somehow you put 4 or 5 players together, and it could be due to reason of friendships. It could be for the reason of nationalistic pride. It could be for different kind of reasons, but team spirit matters, and we see this as examples that it does matter.
Lucky me, I have been once in the team. I represented the country in the Olympiad. I was the reverse player, and I have seen it in my own eyes how that was making. And you're absolutely right. That spirit, especially in team championship, it's so important. And we have seen it not like once. It's so many Olympiad, and very rare when the first top seed wins the Olympiad. Often it's the team spirit that makes.
Yes. Correct. Thanks, Savetic. Listen, I have to go to airport.
Have a good flight, Ivan. Wishing you all the best with your professional success, with your life. You're excelling everywhere. You said, I don't want to sacrifice everything for. I'm going to enjoy my life too. Wishing you all the best, Ivan, and thanks for all your wisdom and information you shared with us.
Thanks, Savetic, and a lot of success with your work. Best regards. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye, Ivan.